Well, I think, first of all, I would like to thank the fan base and all the people that has come. It's a midweek game. Difficult sometimes, I know from my experience. And they show up. They help the team to this comeback about the game. And we want, as a staff and players, and to thank them because we felt it, and it was very important for us to use their energy to this comeback. On the game, related to the game, we never should be in a position to have to come back in that way. I think is the thing that I told the players, because we again miss very clear chances, and we put ourselves in a really tough spot. Then we weren't compact and allowed the opponent to have their chances. I think after the halftime, and we talked, we adjust some things, and made some changes during the game, and I think it helped the team to the comeback. I think the objective was to pass to the next round, and this is why the cup is always beautiful for the fan base, but not that much for the coaches, because we know it's always stories there. We already have a one MLS team eliminated, New York City, and then others that went to PKs, extra time yesterday, and it's always difficult, even though we know, and we came up with the right energy, and we had chances right away. But this is the cup, and now we have to regroup. We have to forget about the cup for a little bit and refocus for what is coming on Saturday in Cincinnati.
Thank you, Nico. We'll go straight into media questions. Phil, we'll start with you.
Hey, congrats on the win. Wanted to ask you, first of all, about just the team at this kind of stage of the season needing confidence, and wondering, does this win, do you think, bring confidence, or does it bring concern in that they had to come back in the way that they did?
I mean, I always say the cup is very difficult to analyze. These games that if you win, you are in. If you lose, you are out. It gets chaotic. It gets chaos, and it's difficult even to analyze. I think we have to learn from that. I think also, I told the guys, now at the end, we were coming from 2 tough games, and this is the reality. Tough results, tough games that we couldn't do our best performances, and we didn't show really who we are. And I think that with these misses chances at the beginning of the game, it put, I think, the team in a difficult situation. And then I think we can use this as a something that we have to believe in ourselves. We have to have confidence, because we have players that can make the difference, and we just have to play and make those plays with the determination that we show in the second half, and everything will go better for us.
Okay. And then kind of a lot of green shirts passing to blue shirts on the night. So just kind of curious about your impressions about the turnovers and all that. And then Owen, I think, obviously his introduction into the game allowed him to connect with forwards in the way that maybe other players hadn't.
Yeah, the thing is, for me, first of all, I would like to congratulate Wilmer Cabrera, excellent coach that I had the opportunity to meet him again after a long time when he was in Houston. I think they're doing a fantastic league season. They play really well. They are very vertical, and credit to them to force us to make those mistakes and put us a hard game. But as you said, there is players that have more confidence now. I'm not. And I told the guys in this case, like Jader and Diego, I'm sorry I have to sub you, and maybe I'm not being fair with that. But we needed to change things, and the same with the other players that I had to change. But Owen is having this season a little bit more maturity in his game, a little bit more poise. And what I like from him today, it's I think in the last games he lost a little bit that poise, and he lost a little bit that how I say it, desire, you know. And I think today, because these games bring you that, or you go or you are out, put him in a really good spot, and he made the difference.
Salome?
Profe, buenas noches. Primero, felicitarle por la victoria y preguntarle, después de hablar sobre el reto de remontar durante 2 partidos atrás, lo ha conseguido. ¿Qué pudo hablar con sus jugadores en el entretiempo para poder cambiar ese 0-2 con el que se fueron al descanso en la primera mitad?
Bueno, es un discurso muy parecido al que he tenido las otras veces, pero esta vez hemos tenido más fortuna. Sobre todo es importante jugar con velocidad, pero tener calma y tener paciencia, porque lo que no queríamos es conceder el tercer gol, ¿no? Entonces, con la precipitación, las pérdidas de balón, podía, ¿no? generarse en esas situaciones, ¿no? de conceder el tercer gol. Y bueno, yo creo que eso nos tiene que dar confianza de que podemos remontar si tenemos la determinación que hemos tenido hoy.
Y también, profe, en el segundo tiempo, con el ingreso de Taylor y de Owen, Uzuni y Brandon se vieron un poco más cómodos y mejor ubicados en tiempo y espacio. ¿Fue esto también una decisión del medio tiempo?
No, en medio tiempo no. En medio tiempo sí que ajustamos, porque metimos ya a Mirto, porque Robert lo mandamos en banda, pero sí que es verdad que nos faltaba alguien más entre líneas, más que enganchara con los dos, y ahí Owen creo que ha hecho un trabajo muy, muy bueno hoy.
Colby?
She may have just asked this, but with Brandon and Mirto, do you sense any kind of relief from them a little bit after the game, just connecting there at all?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how much they were suffering at halftime when we came there, and we threw nothing after the chances that they had in the first half, and I feel good about them after the game, because I can't imagine how they felt in that moment. It's hard. It is really, really hard, and they are good people that care about their teammates, and they could feel that they were letting down their teammates and the team, and I'm relieved that they could show what they are, really good players in front of goal, and had the chances to score.
I thought Kolmanich was really good for the 60 minutes he was in there. Did you see that the same? And does that present a good problem for you now, too, with what he displayed tonight?
Yeah, I think, as I always said, I think we have a good roster, and any player that can come in can do well. I think even Diego Rubio had a really good some of the crosses that he had and some actions that he had, and Jader was very, very active, maybe with less clean in his game, but very active. And Z, I think he provides that delivery, and he provides those crosses and that quality in the pass that help, Unluckily, we should score a couple of goals with some of his crossing in set pieces, but we had lucky after, and we could we earned it, because I think we earned this win, even though that the opponent put us in a tough position, but thankfully we are not the story in MLS that is the team that it gets eliminated.
Eric McCoy?
Yeah, congrats on the win, Coach.
Thank you.
Vasquez had a nice layoff for Uzuni's goal. Is that type of combination, kind of Vasquez holding up play and laying off for Uzuni, something you'd like to see more of going forward?
Yeah, for sure. And it takes time. This is why I always said that when you have new players, they're coming from different paths, different leagues, different type of game model, and adjust all the dots. It sometimes is difficult, and there is so many examples in the world with coaches that struggle at the beginning to fit everything, and then after they had the time and could change and turn the things, and then the teams did really well. And I think we just have to keep going, and sometimes you need this kind of game that you cannot think much, that you have to go. You have to go and do it. And then maybe these make the players to not think on the pressure, on the stress, and and the negativity is you have to go. You have to keep going, and this sometimes makes them to connect better. Now we have to get this and put in a little bit more organized way that we cannot, suffer in transition as much as we did today.
And then, are there elements of the second half comeback that you think can be repeated from the start of matches in MLS play?
I think, to be honest, I think we had a really good first 10, 15 minutes. I think we had the 1v1 by Mirto, the header by the Brandon, a couple good situations there, and suddenly, it's crazy. We concede the goal. I think we could be in the other way, score at the beginning, and then have an easier game for us. But sometimes life makes, as I always said, hard defines greatness. And for whatever reason, it's been hard for us so far, and we have to keep going to be great at the end of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Phil, we can come back to you.
So obviously you used a lot of starters, and with this win, you've guaranteed yourself 4 weeks of Wednesday, Saturday. So I'm wondering, are you going to maybe put stronger lineups on Wednesday versus Saturday, considering that you are going to have to rotate, and considering that there's another Cup game in 2 weeks, and maybe the Atlanta and RSL games are more winnable than the Cincinnati, Vancouver matches?
I think we have to put the best lineup that we can every game, and now we have to recover our guys and see how everyone is recovering, and put a lineup that can compete against Cincinnati, because we go there to compete and try to beat a really, really good team. But I think we have the tools, we have the players, and we'll have to make some changes depending how everyone is recovering. And but also during the game, we could adjust. Maybe there's players that can play 45, 60 minutes, 90, and then depending on that, we'll have all the others come in, like we did today.
Okay. So you could theoretically have Vasquez, Azuni, Bukari playing every match as starters, or
it could
second half
happen.
subs. Okay.
Yeah, or decide in some case what we did today, like start with other guys and then mix a little bit more the lineup. It's depend on how everyone is recovering. We know Robert is gonna be out probably because he had like a kind of cramp sprain in the hamstring, and this is not ideal right now because he did a really good job when he came in.
Oh, was CJ out for any injury reason? Or?
No, it's the cap only allows you to bring 18 players, and then unluckily because we know he could help us a lot today, but unluckily he couldn't. Had a great conversation with him, but he trained this morning. He's ready to help the team against Cincinnati, and we'll see.
Colby?
And what was the thought process by starting with 4 forwards? Is that something you maybe like to continue on with in the future?
So sorry, say it again.
It looked like you started 4 forwards, so.
I mean, with I think it's more for the qualities of the players. We wanted some player like Diego that can play also in between lines and can provide service. He had some good actions there, and Mirto to keep continuing him on the left side, and Jader, he's a player that he can play wide, he can play inside, but the idea it's depending on the profile of players. Maybe Diego can do a better job on the 4-4-2 defending and playing underneath the forward, and then maybe when we have Sabo, Owen, we can go in the 4-3-3. Or just adjust things. Today we didn't want to change much in the second half on the defensive side, just to keep it simple for the guys, and we kept the 4-4-2 with Mirto and Brandon. But we can change depending on the profile of players that we have available. Yeah.
Any further questions for Nico? All right, we'll wrap there. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad that you could see 3 goals.
It's like happier when it ends up this way versus what we thought it might.
Oh. go.